Good evening, fantasy world. I address you tonight not as Disco, not as the leader of Discoball Nation, but as a citizen of the fantasy football world. We are faced with the gravest of challenges. The fantasy folks call this day Byemageddon, and yet my friends Sleezball and Pete and myself have the technology to prevent our Week 12 losses. Tonight, we help you navigate the waiver wires so you and your loved ones can stock up on these non-perishable fantasy football assets. This is a crucial time for your team to survive this Week 12 Byemageddon. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are here, we are primed, and we are ready to get you folks ready for this Week 12 Byemageddon. Now, I am joined once again by my two good friends. We have Sleezball here, and we have Pete Nova. Sleaze, please introduce yourself. Let the folks know who you are, where you're from, what you do, and as long as you'll fucking love me.
How we doing, everybody? Name is Derek. Go by Sleezball. Do my Mind as a Weapon fantasy football podcast. Every single social media platform you can find me on. And I'm excited to get here. Never been on a show with Pete before either, so I'm excited for that as well.
Pete's a beauty. Pete, why don't you introduce yourself? Let the folks know who you are, where you're from, what you do, and as long as you'll fucking love me.
Yes, sir. Pete Nova. You can find me on X at Supernova38. They call me the defensive streamers guru. It's pretty much the only thing I'm successful at when it comes to fantasy football. So you'll find me there on X. Fantasy Football Face Off Sports Network is where you'll find my work as well. Ready to kick off things and get going.
Excellent. By the way, you gentlemen look absolutely incredible. Super, super sharp, super dapper. All right, so let's kick things off here. All right, guys. So Byemageddon is upon us. Obviously, we're all dressed up and we're doing this, but it's very serious because a lot of people have some serious playoff implications coming up to this point and leading up to this point, and you need this win. So that's why we're putting the show together with two of my favorite pros in the industry. Like, bar none, these guys are absolutely genius. So we're going to start with the quarterbacks. Okay, so currently on bye, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills for Week 12, Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, and Derek Carr. With that being said, these pros are going to give you their top three waiver wires at each position, but first I'm going to introduce it. So, Sleaze, we'll start with you, buddy. Give me three quarterbacks and why they should start them in Week 12 and why they should pick these non-perishable assets up and put them into their fantasy football lineups to survive Week 12.
So with everybody on a bye this week, it's going to be tough with the 6 quarterbacks out. It depends on what your lineup looks like. But when I'm diving into this and I'm looking at the quarterbacks that I think are going to be decent plays, even though they're in tough matchups, it's still going to be Drake May for the rushing upside for the Patriots. You're going against the Dolphins. They are tough as well, but you still get the rushing upside. And he's honestly becoming one of the best rookie quarterbacks that people didn't talk about in fantasy football right now. And he has no weapons. So I'll just wait till next year when the Patriots give him some weapons on offense. It's going to be lights out for Drake May.
Can't wait.
If I'm looking at a second one, and these are I'm digging deep here. Like these are like on your waiver wire quarterbacks here. So Jameis Winston's probably most likely on your waiver wire right now. I know next week he gets the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is not great, but still with the way he slings it, I'm willing to throw him out there. And I guess I would say Anthony Richardson too, but in most of my leagues, Anthony Richardson is picked up, so I'm not buying that one at all. And if I had to go with the third one here, I wouldn't say. I mean, Bo Nix is mainly gone. I'm gonna go with Will Levis. I like the Houston pass team. They give up a lot of yards. They do blitz a lot. He's gonna get sacked a lot. He was sacked 7 times last week. He might die versus the Minnesota Vikings this week as well. So I mean, nervous there, but he gives you the rushing upside too. I think he's cracked his rushing prop every single week this year, or every time we bet it, it's hit. So he gives you like 30 to 50 yards there, which is 3 to 5 points, which is nice. Calvin Ridley's been balling absolutely for the past 3 weeks. He's been seeing number one usage, and Will Levis made him look good too. I didn't see that coming. So it's tough with the matchups you're looking at, but those would be my 3 tertiary quarterbacks that I have to pick up because, I mean, if I'm playing in competitive leagues, there's not really much else out there.
I like it. Excellent point. Guys, we will address all comments and questions as we swap over to positions. So, Nicole, I see your question, and I assure you will address it. Pete, sir, how do we get through these dark times ahead? By the way, you guys look really dapper. Did I mention that you guys look so good?
I think so. I'm not really a tie guy, so I'm glad that
Me neither.
Sleaze didn't wear one as well. I look good in a tie. You look good, but I'm not. It's too much for me. But yeah,
Let the chest hair hang out, sir.
it's fine. Maybe I'll unbutton one more. Um,
I need
but
something button big time right now. I'm warm.
that's kind of why I was like, I don't know if I want to be on stream with a tie on. I got the heat cranking. It's cold up here in PA. It's probably colder by you.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, since we didn't put a cap on, the percentage owned, for me, Bo Nix is my favorite. Obviously, I'm a Broncos fan. He's 45% owned across fantasy formats. So 1 out of every 2 leagues. I mean, he's available. I mean, the rushing upside with Nix has been there. I'm pretty sure, and I don't have it in front of me, but I think the last 5-6 weeks, he's quarterback 6. He scored under 22 fantasy points just twice since week 5. So he's been really good this year. The floor is there, and he gets the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 24th when it comes to points given up to the position. I am with Sleaze. I do like Drake May for the rushing upside. He goes up against tough Miami Dolphins defense. They're number 1 when it comes to limiting quarterbacks, but that number is a little bit skewed because when Tua Tagovailoa was out, the teams weren't feeling like they had to throw the football much. So it really limited the amount of points that were scored by quarterbacks. In the last 5 weeks, the Miami Dolphins are 15th when it comes to points given up to quarterbacks. So that's a little bit better it's a more cleaner look for what we can probably expect for quarterbacks going up against them. And then my third quarterback, I was kind of teetering between Aaron Rodgers, but then
Aaron Rodgers is on a bye week, sir.
Yeah, and then I got the buys mixed up. So I guess I'll go Daniel Jones if he's still the starter. Against the Bucks. I mean, I get it. It's not sexy, but I mean, it's a good matchup. I mean, if you were gonna start him any week, it's the week you would want to start him. But I don't know. Drew Lock could be named the starter, and then maybe we're talking about maybe starting Drew Lock. But I mean, he gets Tampa Bay, who's 32nd when it comes to points given up to quarterbacks. And Jones has had 18 and 28 points the last 2 weeks. He's had some up and down weeks, but he's giving you 24, 21, and 20 and 28. So 4 games above 20 points in fantasy against the worst defense in football against quarterbacks in fantasy. So I'm willing to roll the dice. I'm not excited about it, but that's a really deep one. And I wouldn't want to start him, but if you had nobody else, I mean, he's somebody to look at. So
what about a dart throw on Trey Lance?
Oh god,
getting the start next week.
I thought about it.
Disco?
I mean, shit. If he's available, I think he's a superstar and a stud player. That's why I have exposure to him in some best ball lineups. The fact that I called Dak Prescott's season-ending injury is pretty fucking wild. But hey, here we are. What about Justin Herbert? I think he has the best matchup in football coming up, and not a lot of people roster him, and he's on a lot of waiver wires still currently. They will be playing the Baltimore Ravens. I believe that's the Monday Night Football game. Baltimore Ravens give up at least 300 plus passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a partridge in a pear tree. What do we think about Justin Herbert? Is he somebody that is an absolute smash start and borderline QB1 next week?
Yeah, absolutely. But he's rostered 80%.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely in the deeper leagues, people definitely have him. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the running backs who are on a bye next week. By the way, guys, great job. RB's on a bye next week. We got James Cook, Chase Brown, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, and Travis Etienne. With that being said, it's as slim pickings as it was for our quarterbacks. It's going to be even slimmer for our running backs. So let's see what our pros have salvaged here in these dark days. Pete, lead the way with your running back, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe Jaleel McLaughlin if if Javonte Williams is completely phased out, I mean, I think Javonte will be the pass catching back, but Estime doesn't catch passes. And Javonte goes up. I mean, Jaleel goes up against the Raiders, who've been pretty decent, I guess, against running backs, but it's nothing to write home about. I think they can be had in the air when it comes to running back. So Jaleel's maybe a dart throw. I guess maybe Antonio Gibson. That offense is weird. Sometimes he gets up, but I mean, out of all four of these positions, running backs is probably the toughest one because if there's anybody that has a heartbeat, they probably are rostered. But I would look at those two guys. I mean, outside of that, like maybe Tajay Spears, if people have gotten upset and weren't willing to hold on. I know I advocated for people to make roster space and drop him. I mean, I don't necessarily love the matchup. It gets Houston in week 4. But I mean, you're talking about a guy that might get some snaps. So this is a tough position for me, but those would be the 3 guys I would advocate for because it's probably slim pickings in pretty much all of your leagues at running back. So
Absolutely. Sleazimus, Decimus Meridius, you're up, sir.
Doomsday. The running backs. Oh my God, this was tough, man. So if we're going tertiary as it gets and players that are on your like on the waiver wire right now that are available, I do think Zamir White is someone you should even grab this week because I think I'm going to buy into the bye week and Antonio Pierce gets him going here. Hopefully, I mean, I drafted him as a 5th round running back in the fantasy draft. So, and we were both really high on him. You were really high on him, and it's not gone for him.
I'm just delusional.
I'm hoping he comes back. Another one I really like that people are kind of overlooking here is the home run hitting ability of Keaton Mitchell. And Keaton Mitchell is supposed to be more involved here. He's coming off his major injury. He'll be back out there. And you've heard Harbaugh talk about the 3-headed monster. So they want to use Justice Hill. They want to use, Keaton Mitchell. They're trying to save Henry now because they're already kind of in the playoff stretch here. So they'll probably, lean off him a little bit here down the stretch. I mean, this guy can't be 30 years old taking 25 carries a game like this. This is crazy, or he's a god. One of the two. So, and if I'm looking at a third one, this is deep here. I would say Mostert because he's dropping a lot in ownership because he didn't get a single carry last week. But I'm looking into Jalen Wright here. And I want to see if he starts to get an uptick of usage here for Miami heading into next week because, man, he looks good when he's out there. And you get the Patriots, and they really struggle versus the run. So, you could see a 2-headed monster between him and Devon Achane instead of Mostert, who they might have wasted $10 million on. And they're not even using him. So that'd be my third guy I'd be looking into here if I need a, dart throw play here.
I'm surprised that neither one of you said Gus Edwards. Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens are one of the top 3 run defenses.
I was going to, but he's open every year.
But like, if we're talking about slim pickings, if Gus Edwards is available and you need somebody who's going to get at least some volume and based off of game script and game script alone, he could fall into the end zone. I don't think Gus Bus is a bad suggestion as well. If he's available, I would highly recommend picking him up. And guys, by the way, we're not telling you, okay, go pick these guys up next week. We're telling you, fucking get them now. Go and put your claim for these guys now because these guys are going to help you win your week next week. All right, let's talk about the wide receivers who are on a bye week next week. Obviously, there's Amari Cooper, Brian Thomas Jr., Jamar Chase, no matter what, T. Higgins, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. We're not going to mention any of those bums from the New Orleans Saints. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. With that being said, gentlemen, Sleaze, you're up first. Please let me know how you're going to navigate this wide receiver situation. Who are the waiver wire picks we need to target for week 12 for Byemageddon, sir?
I like this one. I have a lot for this one actually because there's a lot of these on the waiver wire right now. So you got to be looking into Adam Thielen here, who should probably be picking up right now. Who still not owned that much in many leagues, coming off his injury. I haven't seen if it says he's fully back this week, right? I haven't really checked that yet.
He is, yeah.
Removed from injury, activated, not out there, or no official update yet on Sleeper on them. But if he's out there, that's going to be a nice blanket for Bryce Young. And Bryce Young's got 2 straight wins, which is crazy to me for the Panthers. So they're starting to cook a little bit here. I'm also really interested in Jalen McMillan if he comes off his injury. I know you'll get Mike Evans possibly back week 12. You'll get the New York Giants. No better team to play than the New York Giants ever. I mean, I know they're not a bad defense, but their offense never moves the ball, so you get so many opportunities galore on the offensive side. And then I'd also be looking into Brandon Cooks coming off his injury. So I know you don't have great quarterback play there as well. So, I hope Trey Lance gets out there because I don't know how Cooper Rush can pass for 45 yards and still have a job, which is crazy to me. But there's also, well, I'll let you go and then I'll save my other two because I have two more I think as well that are nice as well.
Pete,
I'll let
go.
Pete take mine.
Yeah. So for me, I like Noah Brown. Noah Brown is still not heavily rostered in formats. He gets Tennessee. He gets Dallas 19th when it comes to points given up to wide receivers. This is an offense that they get an extra, it's like a mini bye right now. Noah Brown has been good. I mean, he's had 2 weeks where, it wasn't great for him, but prior to that, he's had 50 yards or more in 4 weeks this year. And I think he's we're talking deeper plays. He's probably the deepest play. I like Mike Williams a lot against Cleveland. Yeah. I mean, look, 9 snaps last week, only 1 catch, 32 yards, but he had a touchdown. He gets Cleveland, who is 28th when it comes to points given up to receivers. Cleveland's given up 11 touchdowns. Mike Williams is a red zone threat. The craziest thing about Cleveland is they're giving up 1,450 yards to wide receivers on just 96 catches. So they're giving up a lot of passes downfield, which is probably good for him and Pickens, to be completely honest. But I think both guys can play really well. And then this last one's kind of interesting. It really matters about the quarterback situation, but Darius Slayton, he's going up against Tampa Bay. Look, Malik Neighbors has kind of been up and down, but Darius Slayton, Tampa Bay's 29th when it comes to points given up to wide receivers. I know Wan'Dale Robinson's been involved, but Darius Slayton, to me, coming off of a bye, he just, I don't know, for something just sticks out to me here. He's been reliable when they've needed him to show up. I know Neighbors is still there. But we're talking deep. If I had to rank them, it's Mike Williams, Darius Slayton, and Noah Brown out of those 3. But I really like Mike Williams the most, and he shouldn't be on waivers. If he is, even if you're not starting him next week, you should be picking him up.
He's only 20% owned.
Yeah,
in Yahoo.
Now, can I ask you guys a question? What about Dontavian Wicks? The San Francisco 49ers seem to be hemorrhaging, chunk plays, especially to the slot and the X receiver, which is where Wicks plays predominantly. Yes, the snap share isn't ideal, but is he somebody that would be worth a roster spot and somebody that we could potentially start?
He was definitely on my list. I had him as number 5. But, again, you're dealing with so much target share. I do think he could pop one, and I was really high on him coming in. I'm not gonna lie, he was one of my big sleepers, and I thought he would, become the number 1 wide receiver for him because I think Jaden Reed's more of a gadget guy, but it's been Romeo Doubs, and I was completely wrong about Dubs or Dubs, if you say his name. He's been balling.
You said it right the first time. Okay, now let me ask you, what about Demario Douglas against the Miami Dolphins?
Demario Douglas is a guy that's always a game breaker. Drake made the connections growing. I was also thinking Juju Smith-Schuster
against Carolina.
That was my last one. Panthers just hemorrhage points galore, but they could blow them out and not be a game too. That could be a bad thing.
Let's rewind a second. What about Samaje Perine against the Carolina Panthers? The Carolina Panthers are the most advantageous matchup on a weekly basis against the running back positions. What do you think? Is he somebody that, like, if you are fucking desperate and you got a bunch of players on, is Samaje Perine somebody worth rostering and potentially playing, flexing?
If Pacheco's out, yeah. The thing about this Carolina team is they've given up double-digit points to 2 running backs in like 5 weeks this year. You saw it with Tyler Algier and Bijan. We've seen it multiple times this year. I'm pretty sure Jaleel and Javonte had double digits. It wasn't high, but they've been hemorrhaging. They're the worst when it comes to points given up to running backs. Zach Moss and Chase Brown, I think both scored 20 points. It just depends on Pacheco, and if he's back, I don't want to, but it's if you have a roster spot open, it's worth, because these injuries are weird, man. Like, just because Pacheco was activated, he may not play.
Yeah, I'm anticipating that's going to be a bit of a slow ramp ramp up, that they're going to prepare him for the actual playoff run, not the fantasy football playoff run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you think Carson Steele will get more run because P. Ryan's more of a pass down back?
He's been playing fullback.
He's been getting a couple carries here and there. I mean, it's nothing
Yeah,
great,
but he's been playing fullback the vast majority. I think he's like lost.
Yeah, I think he's lost confidence out of that. I think he's lost confidence too.
Yeah.
Will we see Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Fuck, I hope so, because I got a lot of exposure to him.
Best ball.
All right, let's address the chat. I did say that we'd do that, and we are breezing through the show, so I love this. First says Kobe and the Cattle Dogs, love you, baby. Second says Knifey Spoony, love you also, buddy. We got the all clear. All right, we got a question here, guys. If you guys have an answer, feel free to pop in. If you guys want me to handle it, I could do that. Amon Ra and Tank Dell for George Pickens and Nico.
Yes.
Like I
don't think about that.
I personally am holding on to Amon Ra and Tank Dell. I think they have equal value. Pickens' schedule is going to get a little bit difficult for your fantasy football championship, but yeah, Nico's also a smash play. Yeah, I mean, fuck, there's a lot of depth there with those two wide receivers, that's for sure. Dobbins and Bucky for Jacobs, a good trade? I think so. I think that's a great trade.
I would take Jacobs.
Yeah, I would take Josh Jacobs there too, buddy. I hope that answers your question. Thank you for becoming a member of Discoball Nation. All right, we got another question here from the Knifey Spoony. He says, trying to plan for the future. 2, moving to 3. Keeper league, do you keep Kyron first and AJ Brown second, or trade for CD first and Chase Brown 8th? I also have neighbors. I'm going to go with the second.
Kyron and AJ.
You want to keep Kyron and AJ? I'd rather trade for CD and get Chase Brown, because he also has neighbors.
I'm with you. I prefer the second one just because of the value. You're not really getting much value. You're losing your first and second for AJ and Kyron, and Kyron could lose his job to Blake. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait.
He might, yeah, I mean, I heard he was returning punts. I don't know, man. I heard it was over for him. So I mean, I just think if you're looking for the better value, Chase Brown in the 8th is, you know, it could be a good value. They could also draft somebody. I mean, who knows? But I prefer the second side.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, do you think Chase Brown's going to keep this job as the running back 1?
He might not.
I think
why not? He's been phenomenal.
Leonard Fournette. They've been looking to bring in everybody. They obviously.
But even if he's splitting time, he was good when he split time with Zach Moss too. So
he's been one of the best running backs in football.
I mean, but you get Kyron Williams, who's an 88% snap share, never off the field running back. I'll give me Kyron.
And when you look at running,
you might be able to get Kyron in the second round.
I mean, you could. I mean,
you know, and then you get to keep your 2, and then you pick up, you know.
Yeah.
What's up, PBJ? Good to see you, buddy. Would you trade Ramondre Stevenson and J
Dot?
J Dobbins?
I'm assuming
JSN. Juan, I need you to.
I would already answer this. I'm with you. What you said yesterday. I never really trust Sutton, although I know he's balling.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the Ramondre either way.
Well, like this is a first, right? This is a Broncos fan. It's Josh Downs. It's Josh Downs. Okay. So would you trade? So let's bring that up. Would you trade Ramondre Stevenson and Josh Downs or Sutton?
I mean, it depends what your running back situation is. I mean, if you're desperate at wide receiver, I can understand. And if anybody that read my Twitter, I mean, I told nobody to draft Courtland Sutton, but I mean, his playoff schedule is really good and he's been good. I like Downs. I'm not moving Downs and Stevenson for Sutton, but if Stevenson's your RB3 or RB4 and you have 2 studs and you need the help at wide receiver, I could see it. I'm probably, you know, Stevenson's probably your RB3. I probably would keep the Stevenson side, but Sutton gets Atlanta. He gets Cleveland, who's 28th. He gets the Colts, who's 22 in the first round. And in the championship, he gets Cincinnati, who's 20th against wide receivers. And that could be a shootout. 2 teams that are playing, not shootout, but 2 teams that are playing for a championship. And it's in Cincinnati. And keep in mind, Sutton's had 19, 23, and 19 the last 3 weeks. He's only had, outside of the first 2 weeks of the season, you know, with a rookie quarterback and Seattle and Pittsburgh and all that, you know, he's only had 2 weeks under 13 fantasy points this year. So, I mean, that's 8 out of 10 weeks he's had, no, I'm sorry. But 1, 2,
weeks.
3, 4, 4 weeks. So, I mean, it's up to your tolerance level. I just think if you, I prefer Downs and Stevenson for sure. I could understand Stevenson and Sutton if Stevenson's disposable and you need wide receiver help. That would be my answer.
Great response. He also
I would
asked,
go for more. I mean, you're trying to tear up a little more than Sutton.
yeah. I agree 100% with you there. I think Sutton, you're selling yourself a little bit low. But they also have a very favorable game script and schedule moving forward because they are going to be competitive and playing for the playoffs. So we know that he's going to be in there and going to be getting a little bit more involved because they're going to need him to. Who do I start for my wide receiver 2 spot? This is from Juan as well. Juan Jennings, Josh Downs, Jacoby Myers, or Darnell Mooney. I got Justin Jefferson as wide receiver 1. I'm going to lean with I do like Jacoby Myers' week 11 matchup. It's not a bad week 11 matchup at all. But I also like Josh Downs, especially when Anthony Richardson's in the lineup. So I would say you're between Myers and Josh Downs for sure. And I now see the situation where you do need a legitimate wide receiver too, but I think you could tier up a little bit higher than there. Fantasy football propaganda. That's Jake. He says Douglas should be high on that list. I agree. Devin says, "Hey everybody, I feel underdressed. I was like, ooh. Did I miss the memo? All right, guys. I want to try something here. You guys ready? On the count of 3, I want you guys to stand up, and I want to see what you guys are doing. All right.
Oh no, I'm wearing shorts.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
I got undies on, man.
Let's go. You guys are absolutely legendary.
Suited and shorted.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, jeez. Is this a kids show or is it rated R?
You can do whatever you want, sir. Get weird. All right. Speaking of getting weird, let's talk tight ends. Okay. We got Dalton Kincaid on bye, who's also going to miss this week. So I think Dawson Knox is an excellent pickup. Mike Gesicki is going to be out on a bye week. Kyle Pitts will be out on a bye week in week 12. Tyler Conklin, Taysom Hill, and my favorite, Evan Ingram. Who did we start with last time?
I think it's me.
I think
Okay.
you did.
Sleaze, take it away.
Oh, I like this one. I'm going to be the tight end disco whisperer this week for the Byemageddon for tight ends.
I'm here for it.
So, new OC in town in Chicago. They get Cole Kmet is on the waiver wire everywhere. He's been irrelevant for the past, 5 weeks of fantasy football here. You're going to get the Minnesota Vikings, who have given up a tight end 1 5 times this year on the season. I mean, nothing better there. I don't know how it's going to look with Thomas as a new OC. I know he comes from the McVay tree and stuff, but hopefully it turns it around because Jesus Christ, it's terrible in Chicago. Another great matchup you should look at, a guy I've been talking about for a while, is Theo Johnson, who is going to get Tampa Bay, who ranks 29th versus the tight end or 30th. I don't have my sheet up. I'm just going off the top of my head. And they funneled a lot of passes to the tight end. Look at Kittle last week. Another tight end for Byemageddon that I really like a lot, and it's your boy. It's either going to be Isaiah Likely, who's been dropped to every single waiver wire because Mark Andrews is balling, and maybe he comes back. He is the athletic specimen.
Sure. Kolar?
Kolar?
You sure it's not Kolar? Because Kolar did vulture from both of them that 1 week against Cincinnati. What was it, week 4? Anyways, please proceed.
Oh, God, the random Kolar.
Yeah.
And the matchup is good versus the Chargers. That's the only weak spot they have is the tight end position. They're strong everywhere else. And, I'd throw another dart one out there, but I'll let you guys, take it away here.
All right, Pete, you're up.
Yeah. So for me, it's the trendy name. It's Will Dissly. He's available. I know, shaking the head. I get it. I mean, it just feels like this Chargers offense is picking up steam, and it seems like Herbert tends to look his way 6-3, 7, 11, and 5. So he's averaging around 5 to 6 targets a game since week 6. That was after the bye. And forgetting about, This dude has an awesome schedule going forward. He gets Cincinnati this week. He gets Baltimore. He gets Atlanta. Those are all 22, 25, 29. He gets Kansas City, who's 31, Tampa Bay, who's 30, Denver, who's 19, and the Patriots are 17. So he gets a really good schedule rest of the season as well. I don't know. I worry that it could be a Colby Parkinson thing where everybody's like, oh, pick up Colby Parkinson. They don't have weapons. But I think if you're in a jam like against Baltimore, I think it's a good spot start. I'm going deep in the bag with this next one. It's Jatavian Sanders.
I like that one.
Yeah. I mean, he's going up against Kansas City, 31st when it comes to points given up to tight ends. The last 2 weeks he's had 8.8, 12.7 points, and then he had a dud versus Denver. And then the week before that, he had 12 points and 9 points. So, I mean, he's giving you around like an 8 to 9 point floor in the last 4 out of 5 weeks. Scored a touchdown last week, and it wasn't great. I mean, 2 catches, 8 yards, and a touchdown, but it seems like Bryce Young likes him. They're on a bye. Maybe they take some extra time to look at guys to get involved. They're on a bye this week. And then, looking at KC in week 12, maybe they look to get him more in the game plan. And then my last guy is old reliable Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is, I know. Zach Ertz is the James Conner of tight ends. Nobody wants to draft him every single year, and he just finds a way to get into the end zone or just put fantasy points up. I'm not in love with Zach Ertz. He's had better days. 16 points last week, 6 catches. Well, this week, 6 catches, 47 yards. Week before, 4 catches, 31. He had 8 targets and 7 targets the last 2 weeks. The week before that, the Giants, he only had 1, but then he had 11 targets against Chicago. So 11, 1, 8, 7. The volume is there for Zach Ertz. So he's going to be involved. It gives you a high floor. And again, in a week where, if you're desperate, you're looking for probably more of a higher floor. And he gives you that. So that would be my last guy I throw out there.
Yeah, I agree with the comment Sleez just put in there. All that work, like everything that you were saying, I'm just like that could have been Benson.
Look, all I'll say about Zach Ertz is this: I had somebody on fantasy Twitter with a big following shitting on me in the offseason for saying that Zach Ertz would be fantasy relevant and he was a good last pick in best ball.
Yes,
and they said, "Oh, it's a shit pick. Sanat's gonna take over." I'm like, dude. You have Cliff Kingsbury, who had Zach Ertz there, okay, in Arizona. Okay, they know each other. I mean, it just made too much sense. I love Sanat, but I expected Sanat and him to be on the field at the same time. Sanat can play that fullback, H-back kind of role. So, I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was obvious that Ertz would be involved, but I have a lot of Sanat in best ball too, and I also have a lot of him in Dynasty. So I get it, but I think Zach Ertz is here to stay for a young quarterback. He's a good safety blanket, so.
And of course, he gets his revenge game touchdown garbage time last night.
Yeah, love to
Shocker.
see it. Love to see it. So no love for Jonnu Smith. He seems to be another name that seems to be trending up. The people tend to like Jonnu Smith. We mentioned Theo Johnson,
AJ Barner,
and any love. That's a good name too. Especially if Noah Fant is going to be a slow ramp up, and like. What's his face? Sam Laporta is missing this week, and I think Brock Wright's a smash start this week. And if Sam Laporta misses next week, I think Brock Wright's in a better smash spot.
Hey, what's the injury with Laporta, by the way?
It's a shoulder. Yeah, that's all the news I got. They don't talk about the.
I didn't even know he was questionable. I mean, it's been a long work week for me. I was surprised when I saw he was out. I didn't realize.
Yeah. No, I knew he was questionable. That's why Brock Wright was like just in the back of my mind the entire time. But yeah, if Sam Laporta is out next week, I think Brock Wright is worth a hold, especially if you are a Sam Laporta holder, because Brock Wright at this point is very, very interchangeable with him there as well. Gentlemen, we sped through this. We wrapped it up. All right, so I got a special segment queued up here for us. I'm probably going to, have some copyright situations coming up, but I don't care. Okay. So I got this queued up, and it's gonna queue up my next question. All right, who is a player? Well, let's play the clip. We'll go here. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
This is a big problem in the Russian space station because I don't want to stay here anymore. Yeah, finally we can go.
All right. With that being said, who is a fantasy football player that you have a lot of exposure to, that we all have a lot of exposure to? Who is a fantasy football player that you have a lot of exposure to, that we all have a lot of exposure to, that has done absolutely fuck all this season? And hopefully this Byemageddon is the knock on the head that he absolutely fucking needs to start smashing his matchups for not just Byemageddon, but for rest of the season. Who needs the knock on the head to get going? Sorry, I just want to play that clip because I love that. I love the Russian accents. Very good. Sleaze, it looks like you got somebody.
Marvin Harrison Jr. It is time. They opened up with the toughest schedule in the NFL through 9 games. They get their bye. I know it's not Kyler Murray's job to get him the ball, but look at their schedule from here. Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle, New England, Carolina, LA Rams. I expect him to finish as a top 5 wide receiver.
I like it. Pete, you got one?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to say Lad McConkey, but I mean, he's had up and down weeks. He's been better as of late. I also wanted to say DJ Moore in hopes that maybe the firing of the new, the old OC
Aldrin
lights a fire. But I mean, his DJ Moore has an amazing schedule rest of the season. So I really like him. I know he's been fucking killing us. I had DJ Moore as like my wide receiver 15 this year. He gets Minnesota, Detroit, Minnesota again, and Detroit. He gets them 4 times, 30 and 31. Okay, he gets them 4 fucking times. Minnesota and Detroit in the beginning of the playoffs and then the semis. I don't know. I'm call me delusional, but I got hope that, and I have a little bit of faith that he's going to break out of this. And this offense needs a kick in the ass. So I'm hoping that starts this week. And if not, week 12 against Minnesota.
Any love for Keenan on that one?
What did we say about Keenan last night?
Keenan might be the safest guy. I mean, DJ Moore looks like he's got an attitude issue right now. So Keenan might be the safer play, low key.
Yeah, we really came into the season thinking that Caleb will be able to feed all of these guys, and yet he's struggling to feed any one of them in particular, and it's very, 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 very terrible. With that being said, guys, I love that. I appreciate that. Here's my guy. Let's see if the chat can guess who my guy is. That has I have a lot of exposure.
I know who it is. I
have a lot of faith in, a lot of belief in. I've tweeted at him saying people have been bashing me. And take a wild guess, guys. Go ahead. Zamir fucking White, please. Zamir White, get it sorted.
What about Travis Etienne?
I don't give a fuck about Travis Etienne because I don't have a lot of Travis Etienne exposure. I knew he wasn't going to be great this year. That's why I didn't draft a heck of a lot of him. But Zamir White, I thought he was going to be great, and I still think there's room for him to be great. He has no choice. He's going to get the volume and he's going to get the opportunity. I think he's going to absolutely smash rest of the season. And if he doesn't, shame on me. I'll still draft more exposure to Zamir White next year because why the hell not? He's in a great spot. Let's catch up with the chat, and then we'll finish off with your smash starts at each position. I'm surprised none of us really mentioned Quentin Johnston or Joshua Palmer or Lad McConkey at the wide receiver situation because they have the best matchup in football next week.
So that was going to be my smash. Lad was going to be my smash for next week. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
players are owned at 80% in competitive leagues. You know what I mean? That's why I was kind of looking deeper.
That's why I try to look deeper too. I don't know. QJ's probably closer to 40 or 50, maybe.
I would personally start Joshua Palmer next week. But let's catch up with the chat. Let's try to find another guy other than Lad McConkey because I think unanimously we all like him a heck of a lot next week.
Yeah.
All right. Peanut Butter and Jelly says my mission is to land Marvin Harrison Jr. everywhere I can. I respect it for sure. I got Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, 10-team leave head-to-head points lead. I want to say I got Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, and Kenneth Walker, 10-team lead. Yeah, I mean, you definitely need the wide receiver help, but Cortland Sutton isn't it for me. PBJ is laughing. Disco After Dark, yes, sir. Freeze and not these fucking guys. What's up, Binking? Good to see you. I've been saying DJ Moore looks like he's throwing a temper tantrum all year. Thank you. True. Same called my shot on each hand last year and completely avoided this year. Solid call. Hey man, and I want to give credit where credit's due. The only person who said Quentin Johnson was going to be an absolute smash this year.
Spoony.
All the drama was Knifey. This guy right here, Knifey Spoony, was the only person who absolutely smashed that call. And last year he smashed Tank Dell, he smashed Puka Nakua, he smashed Kyron, like he smashed all those players. So Knifey is definitely somebody who has an eye for talent. Definitely somebody who really like watches a lot of college ball and also makes some really spectacular calls. So shout out to Knifey. What about Nick Chubb? I love Nick Chubb this week. Nick Chubb is an excellent spot this week, but next week they play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday Night Football, and that is not a smash matchup for any running back. I don't care if it's Christian McCaffrey, right? It's a really, really tough matchup. Obviously, the Byemageddon situation, you're going to have to play him because he's as good as it gets. But yeah, Nick Chubb next week, not so good. This week is one of my top 10 RBs. I love Nick Chubb this week. Fantasy Mafia. I have an offer that you can't refuse. If Chubb can't hit this week, then hit the panic button. Yeah, he should smash this week. Big Brian, feeling JJ over McCaffrey mostly because I'm like hurt. All right, guys, you ready for your smash starts? Okay, at the quarterback position, my smash start, and especially since we're not going to talk about Justin Herbert because I think unanimously he's everybody's smash start. My smash start is going to be Geno Smith against the Arizona Cardinals. I really like him in that spot. Week 12, I think Geno Smith is going to be absolutely phenomenal against the Cards. Obviously, the running game has been electric, but we know that their defense has been giving up a heck of a lot of points. Game script favors a high offensive productive game, and that's why I like Geno Smith as my Week 12 quarterback if it's not Justin Herbert. And he's available in 20 plus. Yeah, so he's good. Is it Arizona or in Seattle? It is in Seattle. Seattle, and he smashes in Seattle. Sleazimus.
My smash start next week, who you should grab off the waiver wire right now. Redemption tour is on. Anthony Richardson gets the Detroit Lions.
Oh, go deeper. Go deeper. That's
deeper. He's on waiver wires.
How many waiver wires are we talking? Like 8-man, 10-man leagues? Let's be real.
He's on 12-man league waiver wires right now.
I dropped him. He's on my waivers. I dropped him.
He's on waivers.
Okay, like in a deeper bench. Okay. Go ahead.
That's fine. I'll switch it up. I'll switch it up here.
All right, switch it up.
I am, and it's tough picking.
That was yours and a bunch of other content creators.
We're talking smash starts that are available on waivers, or just smash starts in general?
Smash starts in general.
Oh, I thought you were going. Oh, I'm still going Anthony Richardson. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's going to destroy the Detroit Lions.
Next week, play the Detroit Lions. Okay, so why against the Detroit Lions? Because the Detroit Lions don't give up a lot of.
I think they might eat him alive.
Yeah, they don't give up a lot of passing touchdowns.
They're going to be blitzing him and coming after him, but they give up the fifth most 20 plus yard balls. Give up 199 yards a game. They rank 31st versus the wide receiver, and they allow, I believe, I don't know what the rushing yards they allow is because they send so much pressure on the edges.
They don't give up much rushing. It's a lot again. They give up a lot in the air.
They don't.
They give up a lot of yardage in the air and a lot of completions in the air, but they don't give up a lot of touchdowns. They're one of the better teams in terms of touchdown production against, and they don't give up a lot of rushing touchdowns. They're a bend but don't break defense. So, Sleaze,
Detroit Lions give up.
Sleaze, just give me a sec. I got to play this.
Hold up. What did you just say? I'm gonna need you to stand on business.
I hate that call. Stand on business. Why Anthony Richardson in Week 12?
Because I'm going to lean on what you used on me, like week 4, week 5, that when a player gets put down that is a professional athlete, they come back, they grind harder, and I think he's going to be better. I just have this gut feeling inside of me that Anthony, I know it's a terrible matchup this week versus the Jets, and I'm still putting him as a smash start this week. I think he's going to come out and light the world on fire, pissed off that he left his, I'm leaving the game here. I don't need to just walk out like a kind of bitch move that he did. You're going to have everyone back healthy. Michael Pittman was out last week. You have a top offensive line. The RPO with Jonathan Taylor is what they have to worry about as well. And I'm just hoping he finds the groove. I had him as quarterback fucking 1 on the season. So this is more like a heart call because, fuck, man, it's been terrible with him. I have a ton of best ball exposure and everything. And he sucks. So I need him to come back.
Heard. Binking asks, why are we even talking about Ertz? He's already played. We're talking about week 12 Byemageddon situation. We are thinking ahead.
Detroit
Tomorrow,
Lions also ranked 15th versus rushing quarterbacks. They allow the 15th most yards.
yeah, but still, rushing production like translates into
Banking must
like,
have rewinded the tape here.
yeah. So Binking, we're talking about Ertz, and we're talking about week
Byemageddon.
12 Byemageddon situation. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time is our week 11 show, but we're just trying to get people prepared for Byemageddon, which I think is a fucking phenomenal idea, guys. And you guys are absolutely smashing this. Pete, give me your smash QB for week 12 Byemageddon situation, because we got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, we got Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Trevor Lawrence, who should come back, and who is a lot, Kirk Cousins. Those guys all have a bye. Give us a smash start. Somebody who's going to be a top 5, just a great quarterback play next week.
I mean, I think Mahomes is the easy one against the Panthers. I do worry that they'll get ahead, and maybe that doesn't lend to him
Dame scripted
doing
out
as well. Yeah, so I don't want to go Mahomes. It's a good play. Jaden Daniels looks like a good play, but same thing with the Cowboys. I like Bo Nix. I like him against the Raiders, but I'm going to go with Brock Purdy against the Packers. Packers defense has been good. This is more of a feel than anything else. I'm not going to look at statistics and tell you, hey, Packers give up a lot of points to quarterbacks. That they don't. But to me, you have a game, 2 offenses high powered. CMC is back. Ricky Pearsall starting to click in that offense. You have Jawan Jennings, who's healthy. Kittle's healthy. We hope Kittle's healthy. He's been kind of banged up this week, but I just think I think that's going to be a shootout. I think we could see 60 points in that game. I think with CMC back, it's going to help that offense out. And I think Brock Purdy against the Packers is a good play. So
I think the Packers absolutely smash them next week. I think the Packers defense are better.
You
than.
Also think Seattle beats us this week too. You just hate the Niners, bro.
Well, no. Your defense is giving
Fuck
up
the Patriots.
Points. Hey man, like we know we suck, but like your team is borderline fraud watch. Is what I'm saying. The 49ers are borderline fraud watch. They are spending money left, right, and center, and nothing to show for it. And I'm fucking here for it. All right, guys. Smash running backs starts next week. I'll go first. Obviously, we could say Kareem Hunt, because anybody can say Kareem Hunt against Carolina Panthers, but we're not going to say that, right? We can easily say Joe Mixon against Tennessee, because nobody passes against Tennessee, but we're not going to say that. Those are 2 guys we're not going to talk about. My smash start for week 12 at the running back position, we just saw him go off for an incredible performance, 17 points PPR plus. Austin Eckler against the Dallas Cowboys. I think Eckler is going to be an absolute stud next week against the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's going to perform and ball out of his mind, and I really do like him as and like we know he's going to be healthy next week too, because he's already played. So yeah, that's who I'm going with. Pete, who's your smash running back start next week?
Yeah, for me, I love David Montgomery. I am a huge David Montgomery fan. I could lead the David Montgomery fan club. I love watching him play football. He gets the Colts. Colts have been a good matchup for running backs. It was better earlier on in the year. They've tightened up a little bit. So it's not as good of a matchup as it once was. But they're still a team that can be had. I mean, 19th when it comes to running backs in the last 5 weeks in terms of points. So again, they've been solid, but I think this is a different kind of rushing attack that they haven't seen with this 2-headed monster. And yeah, give me David Montgomery against that Colts team.
I like that call. Sleaze, you're up.
Guys. It's the Hurricane Devon A-Chain next week going up against your terrible Patriots run defense that allows the 3rd most rushing. And Devon A-Chain, with Tua healthy, has never had a game in his career under 10 points where they're both out there, and he is going to light it up. Last week was an anomaly that he didn't blow up last week. I can't believe it. It was a weird scoring game. He only had 10.1 points. They didn't use him at all for some reason in the pass game, which was weird to me. He saw 5 receptions, but he's seeing the workload now where Mostert is phased out, and the Patriots can't stop the run at all. And he's going to say his guy's back. Here we go.
Heard. All right. Moving on to wide receivers. Smash wide receiver start. Obviously, unanimously, we all said that we absolutely love the wide receivers for the Los Angeles Chargers. They're all in a spectacular smash spot, smash position. I'm going to say My smash start at wide receiver next week. I'm surprised none of us also said Tim Patrick because the Indianapolis Colts really suck. Like they're really, really bad against the wide receiver. I'm surprised none of us said that. My smash start at the wide receiver position next week is none other than Christian Watson against the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco has been hemorrhaging not only chunk plays, but chunk plays to the X wide receiver. That's the vast majority where we see Christian Watson line up. Christian Watson is known to go deep and kill them deep. So I'm leaning with Christian Watson next week as my smash start at wide receiver. And I know it's a really hot take and not a lot of people like it, but hey, I've said crazier things and it's absolutely smashed. Let's go with you, Sleaze. You're up.
I'm gonna go with my smash play for wide receiver, and this is like a shot in the dark here as well because I like what Pete said there. I'm gonna go with DJ Moore. He's got to bounce back here. The matchup versus Minnesota is beautiful. I mean, they second most yards allowed. This defense, I know they're gonna get after the quarterback in the blitz at a heavy rate, but still, I expect. I mean, hopefully Thomas can turn it around here because Waldron was terrible, and DJ Moore is too freaking good to be this bad at football right now. And I feel like they'll get the game in this week. They'll get their feet wet, and then next week you'll see a little better game, and you're at home. And dude, Sam Darnold's been struggling against good defenses. The opportunity is going to be more there for the Bears in this game.
Just don't forget who they lost to last week. My terrible Patriots.
Yeah, I know it's terrible.
I know it was great. It was great.
Do you remember the beginning of the season when we were talking about Waldron's going to be the problem?
Yeah, who would have thought, right? I mean,
we said Getsy was going to be the problem. Bang on. We said that Waldron was going to be the problem. Bang on. So, I mean, it only makes sense. Just really, really shitty offensive court. I'm the only guy who I'm shocked like still has a job, but it makes a lot of sense now. Shout out to Jake Propaganda Football. He told me that Arthur Smith's dad is actually the founder of fucking FedEx.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Which is absolutely insane. Which also they're a sponsor of the NFL, and that's why he has a job in the NFL every fucking year because he's a terrible OC. Like Darnell Washington should not have as much production as he currently has, and Cordell Patterson should not be in the NFL anymore. But hey, he's getting reps, especially quality reps over Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. But it is what it is. Pete, sorry, I'm rambling on.
No, you're good. You're good. I like a good rant. I wanted to go Malik Neighbors, but I can't. I already picked Slayton, and I don't know about the quarterback situation, so I don't want to do low-hanging fruit there. Yeah, I mean, I think it's DeAndre Hopkins. I know it seems obvious, but Panthers, it just feels like, they'll probably find a way to get him. He probably scores a touchdown at least. I could see 15, 20 points from Hopkins that week. More so because Mahomes in this offense, like I feel like I know I said that the fantasy wise he might not tear it up, but I feel like they'll find a way to they not like a get right game, but it's just like they don't have the luxury to just take their foot off the gas against shitty teams. Like they need to use that as an opportunity, in my opinion, to probably work the kinks out and we'll probably see some trick plays. And I think Hopkins probably scores 15, 20. If that's not deep enough, I can give you another one.
I like it.
Is that okay?
If that's as deep as you can get, I like it, baby. I'm
George Pickens versus the Browns.
Like George Pickens every week is a smash start. Let's catch up with the chat before we talk about tight ends. Knifey says Cards defense has been playing amazing at home. Thank God they are in Seattle next week.
They're definitely improved.
Yeah. Is Devonta Smith always a start or a spot start based on secondaries? I would say one, he's somebody that you definitely should have not, like in basketball, he's a great player to draft. In redraft, he's definitely not somebody that you want to draft because like the only time he's ever really significant is if AJ Brown's out, and when AJ Brown's in there, it's kind of tough to project and predict his smash performances, smash starts. But based off of the equity you have him at and the ceiling play that he's there, hopefully you've drafted well enough to have a safe floor around him to still, if he busts, which he does quite typically, if he busts, the floor around him should still lead you to a win. Hopefully that answers your question. I'd say always start, but you've got to be okay with him vanishing. Sometimes he carries risk, definitely. Why are we even talking about Ertz? He's played already. We got that one. What's good, fellas? Shout out to Byemageddon Network. If you guys are not subscribed, fix your fucking lives. He's good peoples, and we love him. Chubb over D-Hop, Metcalf, David Montgomery. I like Chubb this week. This week, I like Chubb. Do I like him over DK Metcalf? Yes. Do I like him over David Montgomery? I think David Montgomery is going to find the end zone, but I also think Nick Chubb's game is going to be a little bit closer. So based off of game script, I like him over all of those names. What do you guys think?
I think you can't sit David Montgomery versus the Jags. That's the only
You can't.
one.
You definitely can't. You definitely can't. But like, do you also anticipate? Like, I think Craig Reynolds is going to hit his over yardage easily because they're just going to be game
They're
scripted.
going to blow him out. I
Yeah.
agree, but I
can
think
see
Monty
that.
still finds 2 teeters, man.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not comfortable. I know the matchups there for Chubb. Totally get it. I'm just not comfortable starting him, and I hate that because I love Nick Chubb, but I just don't know if we're getting the guy. Like, I don't even know if we're getting half of the guy that we remember seeing on the field. So I'm not there yet with Chubb. I know if you're in a deep league, like, I'm not going to tell you not to start him, but I'm still don't have a ton of confidence in him this week.
Fair. But I mean, like, if he doesn't smash this week, he's never going to smash.
Oh, absolutely.
His schedule's brutal ahead. This is it.
Baby Genius says playoff team traded Olave for Tracy late 25 first and
I'm coming
second. It's not good. Glad Cousins isn't in Minnesota, but pray for him to do well elsewhere. Heard. Been able to play it to have Tracy and Rashad to cover my Bijan and Brees next week. That's not bad, man. Especially since they're in the same game. Wait, are we talking about week 12? Yes, Bean King, we're talking about week 12. He says thinking about Zamir over White, though that the 1 week. Yeah, I mean, if he's going to smash anywhere, it's next week and this week. Chat, guess which one's the mobster, who's the lawyer, and who's the car salesman? Sleaze is definitely the mobster. Pete is definitely the car salesman, and I'm definitely the lawyer.
Yeah,
let me know if I got that correct, Bing King. If not,
That's funny.
you're high.
I go to comedy shows and shit. They say I look like a car salesman.
This is a great comment. Sleaze looks like a San Francisco Giants home plate umpire. I don't even watch baseball. Great thing. Don't forget that to mention that week 14, we are looking at a lot of the buys too. Yeah, that's Byemageddon number 2. We just got to survive Byemageddon number 1, and we're definitely going to do another Byemageddon show because this one's very successful. I want to get you guys out of here soon. What time does the fight start?
Right now.
Yeah. Hi, Alice. You think you guys should do this more often? Heck yeah, man. We're definitely going to do it more often because Pete, this is the first time you've been on the show other than the 24-hour charity stream, and you've absolutely smashed it. You're welcome to come whenever, wherever. You're an absolute brilliant fantasy mind, man. We love you. Baltimore Ravens, Denver. Yeah. We know that. Good evening, gentlemen. Good to see you, Willie. Sup, Jerry Bagshaw. Monty, 13.5 attempts, no problem, easily. Sup, getting ready to watch the fight? Yes, sir. Willie sounds like he's also wearing a suit. Gents, what's your call on Paul?
Jake
Tyson
Paul
fight?
or Mike Tyson? Let me hear it. If Mike Tyson doesn't win this, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I just think he's gonna take the fall, man. I don't want to say it, but I
do too. Get the 20 million bag and get out.
Yep. They're on fucking Netflix. Come on.
Bink says Disco, you nailed it. Yeah, I definitely nailed it. Okay, guys, tight ends. Smash tight end next week. Absolute must start tight end. I think he's going to be absolutely spectacular. It's got to be Trey McBride against Seattle Seahawks. These guys are one of the worst defenses when it comes to defending the tight end position. Kyler's been going to him early and often in matchups that are not advantageous. The targets are there, the volume's there, and he's also been converting against really, really good defenses. So when he has a slam dunk layup of a matchup like Seattle, he's tight end 1 on the week easily for me. And if Sam Laporte is healthy, he's definitely number 2. And this has come from the tight end whisperer.
I like Laporte up there as well.
Pete.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's again, it's obvious to go with Travis Kelce. I mean, Travis Kelce gets the Panthers. Like Panthers, I mean, they're second when it comes to tight end points allowed in the last 5 weeks. So I mean, I love Travis Kelce. You're probably not ever going to sit Travis Kelce unless you picked up maybe like a Cade Otton kind of thing. But I like Cade Otton as well. You know, I'm down with Cade Otton against the Giants. I know Mike Evans is coming back. But yeah, give me Cade Otton against the Giants. I don't think this Giants team's not really playing for much anymore. They'll probably just roll over and die at this point. So yeah, and it's crazy because the Giants are actually the best against tight ends the last 5 weeks, but nothing stopping my boy Cade. That's for sure.
Yeah. Sleaze.
I'm gonna go with TJ Hawkinson. Brisker headed to IR. He's, he hasn't ramped up yet. I think this week will help him here. I think it's gonna be a cakewalk game for them, but he could still get some more usage there. And the Bears are kind of like Denver, man. They have Jalen Johnson on the outside, PS2 on the outside. They funnel passes across the middle a lot.
Yep.
The Bears are the 5th most receptions across the middle in between the hashes, which is where the tight end lives. And if TJ Hawkinson can get back out there and get healthy, 70% snaps. I think he's only played like 48 and 46. So I think he could have a big game here, and I think they're going to really lock up. They're going to focal point Justin Jefferson for sure.
I love it, guys. Great show. I know we got to get you guys out of here, but you guys heard it here, man. We just survived Byemageddon together. We gave you guys our top waiver wires, our top tertiary plays, our top smash starts. Together, guys, we can survive this, and we'll see you guys again for this particular show. Week 13. Friday. No, it's not the Friday because that's Thanksgiving for you guys. We'll figure it out, but we'll see you guys at some point week 13 leading up to Byemageddon number 2. Just survive this week. Good luck. Enjoy the fights, and I'm going to play something while you guys are on your way out, just because I haven't stopped fucking listening to this all day. So I'm going to keep playing it. I'm going to get copyrighted.
Just so you know, this was our wedding song, by the way.
I love it.
Wow,
this is a great song.
That's awesome.
That's how much I love Armageddon. Yep.
Great video. Great show. You guys are absolutely brilliant. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America. Play ball. Go Mike Tyson. Knock that
Cheers.
out. I got water in here. All right, guys. Peace. Bye. Thanks, guys. Bye.
The fuck is that? Breathe.